In this video, we'll try to understand what exactly is bundling and minification. Now, before I move ahead, let me talk about how does bundling and minification helps us. Bundling and minification helps to increase performance in MVC. So how does it do it? So you can see here what I've done is, in order to understand how bundling and minification helps to increase performance, I have created a very simple MVC project by using the empty template. Please note, I have created this project by using the empty template, and you can see here in this project I have two JavaScript files. I have created a scripts folder here, and you can see that I have two simple JavaScript file here. In this first JavaScript file, I have some variables, and that variable is doing addition and it's doing a multiplication. There are some comments, and you can see in the JavaScript 2.js file, I have just put a simple alert hello, right? So a very simple MVC project which I have created using the empty template, and there are two JavaScript files in this, one which has some comments and some enters, and there is a second JavaScript file which is just having some alert hello, right? So now let me go and create a very simple controller here, and that controller will have a very simple action which will go and invoke a simple view, and in that view I will go and consume both these JavaScript files. So let me name this controller as some controller, okay, and in this controller let me go and create an action saying display view. So in this some controller, what I'll do is I'll go and create an action here called as display view, and I'll go and create a simple view here. So let me go and add a view, and what this view does is it actually just goes ahead. So a very simple view here, it just displays this is demo of minification and bundling, right? Now what this view does is it actually consumes both these JavaScript files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go drag and drop both of these JavaScript files over here, right? So this view consumes both these JavaScript files. So you can see here I have created a very simple view here, and this view, what it does is it actually uses both the JavaScript 1 and JavaScript 2.js file, right? And this view is invoked by this action here called as display view, right? Now what I'll do is I'll go and run this program in Chrome. Please note, I'm going to use Chrome for now. So I'm going to do a control F5 here very quickly. So let us go and invoke our action display view. So you remember our controller name was sum and our view name was display view. So let me press enter here, and so you can see that our application is running. So if you remember, this hello is coming from JavaScript 2.js file, okay? So that's fine. So our application is running, and I can see the text file here as well. Now remember that I'm using Chrome, okay? Now what we'll do is let's do Control-Shift-I, and let's see what kind of request and response are we getting. Now when you do a Control-Shift-I, it actually goes and opens up the developer tool. So I'm going to do a Control-Shift-I here, and the time I do that, you will see that developer tool has popped up. So you can see here's a simple developer tool here, and I've clicked on the network tab, and now let me again press enter, okay, and let us see what we see here. So just one more time, just to get a better view, right? So there we are. Now if you see the number of requests in the network tab of Google Chrome, there are 3 requests. The first one is to the page display view.aspx. The second one is to the JavaScript file, the JavaScript 1.js, and the third one is for JavaScript 2.js. So we have 3 requests here, one for the ASPX page and the other 2 are for the JavaScript files, right? Now wouldn't it be great if the JavaScript requests are combined into one request? In other words, if there was some mechanism by which we can go and combine both these JavaScript JS file into one file during runtime, and just make one request and get both of these files, because think about situations where you have jQuery files, you have a lot of JavaScript files, like 5 or 6 JavaScript files. Let's say you have CSS files here, right? So the number of requests will increase depending on the number of files you have, right? So you'd like to probably go and combine all these JavaScript files and all the CS files into one bundle and call them in one go, and that is termed as bundling. So defining bundling. Bundling helps us to combine multiple JavaScript and CSS files into a single entity during runtime. By doing so, what happens is multiple requests are combined into a single request, and which in turn helps us to improve performance. Now, bundling and minification is done by using system.web.optimization namespace. And this assembly or this DLL is not a part of core .NET framework or ASP.NET framework. So we need to go and download this system.web.optimization namespace, refer that in our project, and then only we can do bundling and minification. So what we'll do is we'll use Nugget to get a reference of system.web.optimization. In case you are new to Nugget, what my suggestion is to go and see the video on Nugget so that you can understand the fundamentals of Nugget. So in this video, I'm not going to explain you what is Nugget. So you can go and see the video, and then you can understand, what basically Nugget is and how to use it. But for now, I'll go and invoke Nugget here, and I would like to go and search online the optimization package, right? So you can see in the search over here, we have got this ASP.NET optimization, which introduce a way to bundle and optimize CSS and JavaScript files. So we definitely need this. So let us go ahead and install this package over here. So let's click on install here. So you can see this green sign here, which indicates that this package is installed. So let me just go and close this, and let's go into our references, and let's just check if the web.optimization is there. Yes, it is there. So that means everything is nice, good. So that is great. So the first step is we need to go and reference the system.web.optimization assembly into our project, because that assembly is responsible to do bundling and minification. And now the next step is to go ahead and add a bundle config.cs file into the app_start folder. Now remember that if you have selected the basic template, then you will get this bundle config.cs file here created by itself. But if you have selected the empty template, the way I have done here now, then you need to go and create the bundle config.cs file. So because we have created this project by using the empty template, I need to go and add the bundle config file manually. So I'm going to go and add a class file here, and I will name the class file as bundle config.cs. So let me go and select this class file here, and I'll say this class file name is bundle config.cs. I'm going to go and add this, and in this bundle config file I need to go and create a method here called as register bundles, and this register bundle method will actually go and take all the JS files and create one file out of it. Okay, so you can see here in this register bundles method, what I'm doing is I'm saying bundles.add. So create a new script bundle with the name as bundles, and include all the files which are there in the scripts directory. So if you remember, we had created a scripts directory here, where we had all our JS files. So take all the JS file in the scripts directory and create a bundle out of it. Now remember that this bundle collection belongs to the system.web.optimization. So we need to ensure that we reference the appropriate namespace here. So let's go ahead and say, okay, I want to reference the system.web.optimization. So if you do that, you can see all the red things have gone off. And remember, system.web.optimization is not a part of ASP.NET framework at this moment. It is not a part of .NET framework. You need to use the Nugget tool to install this system.web.optimization DLL, right? So that it is. So we have created the bundle config file. I'm going to just go and build this whole solution to ensure everything is fine. So now the next thing is, we need to go and flourish this bundle collection in the MVC startup method somewhere, right? And the best place to go and flourish this bundle config file is or the bundle collection is in the global.asx application start event. So if you remember, the global.asx file has events, which has application start, application end, session start and session end kind of events, right? So this application start event fires for the first time when your application runs. So in other words, as soon as you go and host your MVC application, this application_start event will fire, right? So this is the best place where we can go and flourish our bundle config file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and first refer this namespace here. So let me go and do a Control C here. So I'm going to say using So using, right, and over here I'll say please go and flourish or register the bundles from bundle table. Now remember, again over here also we need to reference the system.web.optimization namespace, or else we will not be getting the class references to bundle collection, etc. right? So I'm going to say here, okay, go and reference the bundle table. So very quickly, bundles, so bundle table.bundle. So there it is. So let me go and just build this solution once to just ensure if everything is right. So rebuild all succeeded. So you can see now in the application underscore start event, I'm going and flourishing all the bundle collection, and this bundle collection will have it will go and combine all the JS file into one bundle, right? So we are all set. We have created a bundles collection. Now we need to go and call this bundle collection in the display view.aspx. If you remember, right, in the view currently we are having this script written like this. So we need to go and use the system.web.optimization and call the bundle collection here to go and inject that one big JavaScript file which will be created on runtime over here. So the first thing is I'll get rid of all this thing from here, and I'll say here, please use the system.web.optimization and render all my scripts which are there in the bundles collection. Remember, we had created a bundles collection by the name bundles. So please go and refer that bundles over here and inject that one combined JavaScript over here. Now let us go and run this. Let's see what happens. And when we run this application, let's again go and start our Chrome developer tool to see that, if we are seeing multiple calls to JavaScript files. So I've done a Control F5 here. So there the browser is running. But before we start, to call our controller and the action, let us go ahead and run the developer tool. Let's click on the network tab here. Now let me go and invoke my controller and the view. So let us go and invoke this. Now you can see here very clearly, previously we had two calls to the JavaScript file. If you remember, we had three calls, right? The first one actually goes and calls the view, the second one goes and calls JavaScript 1, and then there was a third call which calls JavaScript 2.js, right? But you can see now he's calling the bundles here. In other words, there is only one call. In other words, this is termed as bundling. Rather than making multiple JavaScript calls, or rather than making multiple calls to the CSS file, I have made only one call. And if I go out of curiosity and if I click on this bundles here very quickly, now if you see here, if you look at this code over here, you can see this is the combination of JavaScript 1.js and JavaScript 2.js. So if you remember, this is JavaScript 1.js and this is JavaScript 2.js, right? So you can see now how they have combined into only one file. That is one thing. The second thing is very interesting is you can see now this where x equal to 0, x equal to x plus 1, you can see he has removed all the enters. He has removed all the comments. If you remember the original JavaScript 1.js, it had enters, it has spaces, it had comment at the top, everything has been removed over here. This is termed as minification. Minification reduces the size of script files or CSS files by removing blank spaces, comments, enters. So for example, here you can see he has removed the enters, the comments and everything. So bundling, what it does is it combines multiple JavaScript files or CSS file into one unit during runtime so that the number of calls are reduced to the server, and that increases performance, while minification reduces the size of script and CSS files by removing unnecessary blank spaces and comments. And if the file size gets reduced, then definitely the efficiency of the program increases. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. In this video, we were trying to understand what exactly is bundling and minification and how to go about implementing the same. Thank you so much.